All right. Oops. There we go.
What have you done?
Grab this. Yo, Steven, what's up, dude? What's up, Steven? Pop this out right quick. There we go. Damn. Bring this chat up because it's easier to see. Yo, Steven, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Matt.
Hello.
How's your weekend?
How are you?
Are you healing up from COVID?
Just as much as you're healing up, I think, from your voice. So yeah,
one thing after another.
Yeah, I'm on the verge of because it's the second time I had it as well. It's nowhere near as bad as the first time, which was good. But it's a week later, it's still hanging about at the moment. And I've said to you just before that I might have to kind of mute myself a fair bit if I start having coughing fits.
Coughing,
like
right?
Yeah,
you're just not allowed to do that on stream.
Yeah, try not to annoy you too much for that one. So
no, not at all. Yo, Breno, what's up, dude? What's up, buddy? I hope everybody's had a good week so far. I hope everybody's excited. I'll be better next month. What happens next month? Yo, Steven, what happens next month? Anything good? Anything interesting? Rock and rollish? America? Maybe? I don't know. Right?
I can't see chat for any reason this week, Chris. Don't know why.
No, I'm not seeing that either for some reason. Why is that not happening?
Don't know. I'll have to I'll catch it on YouTube instead.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any. Hey, so you guys can hear us and see us, right? Chat, can you guys hear us and see us or no? I'm not seeing that either. Super weird.
Strange. I'll change over. It's always been fine on there, isn't it? Never had a problem.
This is the first time. Not even showing like people in the chat or anything like that too. All right, loud and clear. All right, good. Yo, Ducati, what's up, buddy? What's up, man? How you doing? Missing your truck right now? Oh, that's when your truck gets fixed? Oh yeah. I hope it happens sooner than later, you know? Loud and clear. Been better? Ducati, how much longer you got left over there? How much longer you got left over there? That last 2 days? You had to get some pew action or what? I hope you're all right, bro. Don't forget, Ducati, you got me on Discord, bro. Feel free to call me anytime. You know what I'm saying? Always here for you, homie. All right. Yo, Chris Armstrong, what's up, dude? What's up, buddy? How are you? So Matt, it's kind of disappointing that you got COVID again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, it was. I was saying to you just before as well. I had a few important meetings really where I was due to meet people in person. So it was a bit disappointing that I couldn't make those, but at the same time, good kind of fortune, I guess, that I kind of found out that I had it before meeting them as well, because that wouldn't have been good passing it on to other people. But
right.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as the first time. But yeah, it's kind of like just a bad flu, really. So it's obviously still stayed with me for this week. So yeah, but it is what it is. What can you do?
Just hope for the best.
Right? Yeah, and try not to cough.
Get all healed up.
Yeah, it's the little ones as well, because obviously I was a bit worried about whether they had it or not.
Yeah.
But they've all been good, which is it's funny how it works like that as well, isn't it? You'd kind of expect, if you got it in the house, you'd expect everybody to have it, but it just doesn't seem to work that way.
No, it doesn't, because I remember when my dad caught it the first time, like I didn't catch it, and like I was touching door handles and shit, you know, like it didn't really affect me too much. You know what I'm saying?
No, strange, isn't it? It's a weird thing, but yeah, no. It's how's your voice anyway?
Getting better.
Yeah.
Yo, BK, what's up, buddy? Ducati said, first my wife had to rush to the emergency room. Then my dad busted the forks on my bike in the same day. Wow. And then this morning, the wife had to go back to the emergency room and may need surgery. Now, is she okay? She okay? I want you to know you got positive vibes and prayers coming from me over here, all right?
Yeah, I'm myself. I just have to say a thank you as well, actually, Chris, because there was a few get well soons on your Discord and things for myself. I think I replied to your main message, but not to the extra ones because I got distracted at the time as well. But yeah, thank you for all those people that sort of wished me well and wish that I'd kind of get better soon as well. It's much appreciated, and I did see them.
Good deal. Yo, Testable Gaming, what's up, dude? What's up? Yeah, nothing life-threatening. Okay. All right.
Oh,
But
that's
still
good.
sucks to be in a lot of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yo, just know you got them positive vibes and stuff coming from over here. All right. BK, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you, man. How's everything going, BK? Did you ever get settled in and all that good stuff? Yo, anytime, homie. Anytime. Yeah, that's weird that it's not showing up over here.
Mm.
Because when I was trying to go on TikTok, or I'm sorry, on Twitch and YouTube, but it had some little wrench next to the Twitch thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if something's going on, but at least we're here, right?
There is on YouTube as well, isn't there? Like everyone's name's got a little wrench next to them.
Those are all moderators.
Ah, right, okay. You've got a lot of moderators. That always that reminds me of the Young Guns film. Is it? Do you shout out now and again, like mount up moderators or something like that?
No, not usually. They just handle business.
That's just in my silly head that you do that.
All this while trying to buy another house. Yeah, God. Yeah. Talk about a whole stress monster situation, huh?
They say that that's the most stressful thing in on its own, don't they? Moving house and sorting out houses. So.
I hate moving.
Yeah.
I don't like. I can't. Yikes! Just moving all that crap. You know.
You moved a few hours as well, didn't you?
Yeah, and when I moved over here, there's a lot of shit that I just threw away. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not bringing this. I'm not bringing this. And then I downsized significantly. You know, I went from a 3-bedroom, 2.5 or 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right down to 1-bedroom, 1-bath. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just didn't have room for a lot of shit. I put pretty much a lot of my stuff in like containers. And it's up in the loft, but
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that I just said, not gonna deal with it. Not gonna deal with it.
How long have you been there for now, Chris?
Since May, I think is when I moved down here.
Yeah, it goes quickly, doesn't it? It does fly.
Oh, yeah. Chris, how are we doing? Your voice sounds a lot better. It feels a lot better now. I do start to notice, like, even after an hour on TikTok today, like I'll start being like, okay, it's kind of going out again. Like I don't know, but it's made. I made a lot of steps in the right direction. I just don't know why it's not 100%. I feel like it should be 100%. You know, I kind of miss like screaming and yelling and doing all my stuff. Right?
Are you doing the old honey and lemon trick, or have you?
No, because that doesn't really apply to something like this. Like when you bust a blood vessel, it's only time and quiet. You know, that's the only way to help it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And a lot of liquid, right? So water. I've been drinking a lot of water. BA Loans putting in the work. You got 2. You already buying another one to rent out. That's a good investment. 100%. Let's see. So chat, tonight's topic is what do we say it was? Overcoming or getting past what?
Disappointment.
Yeah. Moving past disappointment and whatnot.
Yeah.
We have an article tonight, y'all. So we're gonna put it on the screen here if you guys want to follow along. Matt, you ready to jump into it?
Yeah, no worries. I'll catch that myself.
All right. So coping with a setback the sensitive way. All right. A setback or disappointment can be particularly devastating for highly sensitive people. We feel emotions so intensely that when faced with defeat or misfortune, it can shake us to our core. But the best strategy of HSPs trying to cope with life difficulties is use your own unique sensitive traits. Hey, what did you say HSP stood for? Highly sensitive?
Yeah, highly sensitive people. But when I was reading through this earlier, they talk about, people that are kind of obviously very highly sensitive and things, but I think this relates to anybody really. There were certainly things in there that I recognized, and some of the suggestions that they give as well of getting over setbacks certainly can be used by anybody.
Right. Everyone feels shocked, angry, upset, and a range of other emotions when they lose their job or a relationship ends, when a loved one passes away, or a personal goal we've been working for slips out of reach. But for HSPs, even a change in schedules can rattle us. Pearl Buck, a Nobel Prize winning author and HSP, wrote that for the sensitive person, a touch is a blow, a sound is a noise, a misfortune is a tragedy, a joy is ecstasy, a friend is a lover is a god, and failure is death. So I guess my question to you guys up in the chat, do you guys consider yourself to be one of those ones that gets highly devastated over things like that? Kind of similar to what they're talking about in the article. For many people, the answer seems to lie in the extremes. They react to difficult situations either by withdrawing, shutting down, giving up, or falling prey to depression due to the loss of everything they'd hoped for because they no longer have the drive to move forward. I mean, So I've definitely found myself in situations like that, and I think right now, like, I guess one thing that I always have struggled to overcome is like shutting down or self isolating
Yeah.
or withdrawing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
What about you, Matt? Do you find any of those things?
Yeah, I'd say that's me as well, really. Um, in many ways, I'm pleased that I'm a kind of an overthinker because it served me sort of really well over the years. But in other ways as well, I have to keep a bit of an eye on that because very easily, I guess, over certain things that some people might feel were quite small, I can certainly kind of self isolate myself really and sort of close down a little bit, I guess, where I'm just thinking about sort of one thing. Thankfully, I recognize that fairly quickly these days, and I kind of try to change that when I sort of notice that I'm in that. But um, especially this time of year as well, because over here, the weather's changed. It's got colder. Dark nights are kind of coming in, that sort of thing. So, kind of myself not feeling well over the last sort of week. That's probably hit me a little bit hard because you sort of think, well, it's raining outside, it's cold anyway, it's grey skies and things. So instead of sort of thinking, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather and still getting on with the other things that I could do, I find that I sit there longer than what I should in the chair, sort of feeling sorry for myself, really. So
Right.
for me, it is just about kind of catching those moments and thinking, right, I'm still going to make my bed this morning, as it were, and those sort of things that we talk about quite often. Just finding that extra reason to get that little bit of an extra boost, isn't it, to carry on doing
Absolutely.
the things that you should be.
So Chris Armstrong said that's why I don't make plans. When plans don't go the way I planned, I get very upset and it drives me crazy.
Mm,
So I have a friend, right? I have a friend who's very similar to that and very particular about things have to go this way. Like if we're gonna go do this, we have to do this at this time. We
yeah.
have to go. We have to be there by then. We need to have this ready by then. We need to make sure that these steps are in place before we go. And so, like, if we have to stop at the gas station get ice before we go, like, we have to allot for that amount of time. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm opposite, right? Like, I fly off the fucking handle whenever. Well, not fly off the handle, but fly off the limb of my seat. I'm just along for the ride. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, I like to do random stuff at random times, and I don't really plan too much, but Chris, I can definitely see, right, and in him, like how it was very, very difficult for him if one thing gets thrown off, and it can affect the
mm,
whole outcome of whatever it is that the end goal is, you know.
mm,
Um, I've always kind of wondered what it's like to be like that because, like I said, I'm just so random, But even though that's not the specific thing for me, there's other things like that are highlighted right here that I struggle with personally too, you know.
yeah.
Let's see here. Alternatively, many people do the opposite and respond to setbacks by taking on the world, traveling, changing jobs, moving to a new city, taking up new hobbies, and essentially trying to stay as busy as they can to avoid facing the real challenge, their own feelings. And that I would also say, I think back in the maybe not so much now, but to a certain extent now, maybe. I've Matt, I've always worked a lot, right?
Mm,
And I always worked hard and I always worked a lot just to distract myself from whatever was going on at the time. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people do that. You hear about a lot of like workaholics, if you like, don't you? That throw everything into their careers and things. And there's lots of different reasons why people might do that, but a big one is to kind of perhaps avoid other situations or problems that are kind of going on in their lives, or trying to ignore them, or um, if you like, sort of try and run away from those. I think it might go on to sort of mention how that very rarely works, really, because
Yeah, I agree.
those problems are still there, aren't they, when you kind of haven't got that work, or you're not distracted in some way.
I had somebody
There's
tell me one time, Matt, and it's
mm,
always kind of stuck with me ever since, but they always said, no matter where you go, there you are. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, no,
And
that's very
and
true. I like that one as well because I was talking to someone recently, actually, just over the last week, who's kind of moved house and things like that, and have moved completely out of the area where they were living. Only to find, very similar, is that they still, it didn't take very long at all, only a couple of days until they started sort of having some of the same feelings sort of back and things. It was something that we spoke about before they actually moved, and I kind of, we had a conversation about that, as in, a move's good, if it's what you want to do and things, but you might still have to deal with some of these things that are on your mind.
Right.
But we were aware of that, and we did highlight it and stuff, and sure enough, after a couple of days, that some of those feelings and thoughts and things kind of come back. But the good thing for them is that they were aware of that, and they're in a different location, different people around them, different scenery. They've got the option now of, as they've said, is kind of going for nicer walks and things like that. But at the end of the day, they've still kind of realised that they haven't been able to kind of run away from the problems and themselves, really. So
100%.
Yeah.
And it's always a struggle. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like most men are like that. After my divorce, I talked to a therapist and found the one of the reasons I worked so much was because I was not happy being home. And that's
Yeah.
true, man. And it's true. And and I think that kind of ties into what we were saying. Like, no matter where you go, there you are. At the end of the day, you still had to confront that issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And it's difficult, man. It really is, because you have to. I mean, especially, I don't think it's just for men. I think it's for women as well. I think really anybody that work can be such an easy out, especially if you work a lot of hours and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, dude, I'm miserable, man. Let's just fucking drag this out, because I know me personally, and like I said, not so much anymore, because I think that streaming is a stress relief per se, and what we do here and what we stand for kind of forces you to confront what you have going on, so like that's why I love doing this so much. You know what I mean? I love meeting people. I love the family that we built here. I mean, I don't know, man. It's been a very humbling adventure so far, right? And but I will say this, right? Like, it just it definitely will catch up to you at the somehow, some way, right? Somehow, some way. Yo, Miss Chelsea West, what's up, sweetie? What you up to? About time you decided to show up.
Hi, Chelsea.
Work for a lot of people is an escape from the world, and that's true, man. That's true. But where do you draw that line and find that balance? I guess is kind of the secret that everybody's looking for. You know what I mean? Right.
With all like my other escapes used to be sort of music as well. Like I used to kind of go and listen to music, sit on my own. I used to play in a band, and I used to be on at them all the time when I was younger. Like, when's the next gig? When are we going out and playing again? And then sometimes the drive to kind of do that was because I was missing that opportunity to sort of just go and do something completely different, to kind of get away from, things that might have been going on, or relationships, things like that. So, when I look back now, I was always kind of saying, let's go out and play again this weekend. We find somewhere where we can kind of play in the band again and stuff. And it was, there was a love for the music and love being with those friends and things like that, but that was a way of escaping as well. So and it's not always an unhealthy thing. It's kind of unhealthy when we do it to extremes, isn't it? That's
I think that's probably a good way of describing it, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Chelsea, by the way, you can cross off that Facebook nonsense. You ain't gonna be saying
good old Facebook.
Yeah. Yikes. Yikes. Right. Let's see here. The hardest part about coping with any negative experience is the feeling that it generates inside of us. It's the hurt, the sadness, guilt, embarrassment, rejection, humiliation, and sense of loss that can feel so overwhelming we fear it will destroy us. Hiding your feelings, avoiding your disappointment, pretending that you are okay are always ways of trying to keep the hurt you really feel at bay so that you don't have to hurt so much. But the funny thing about that, though, Matt, is like, I think that makes it worse in the long run.
Yeah. In what way
it always has. Go ahead.
In what way do you think that can kind of make it worse and stuff? What's your thoughts about that?
Because you just don't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, it just sits there, and then you just keep distracting yourself and distracting yourself till you end up piling more stress on top of yourself than the initial stressor. Right. So you're just piling shit on top. You're band-aiding things, but at the end of the day, like, you're just making your wound get infected by leaving all the old band-aids on underneath the new ones you're putting on. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. I think especially with other people involved as well, isn't it? Like family relationships, anything like that, because quite often they're kind of demanding your time or demanding to get things sorted, or they want answers to different things. And but then you can be elsewhere kind of saying yes to a lot of other kind of challenges and roles and things because you're trying to avoid those, and it can very easily just sort of mount up and become like what you said, more stressful, more heavy. I think part of that as well is something I used to do, especially years ago, and when I first started getting into working with other people, really, is like what they used to say about sense of humor and helping others is kind of probably in the very early days, I was using kind of my sense of humor, my joke, my silly jokes, things like that, and helping others as a way of kind of distracting myself from my own things, and that's quite a common trait, really, in a lot of people. Luckily enough, I kind of did generally enjoy helping other people and that line of work. But I know that there were times, especially in my teenage years, things like that, where I'd throw myself even more into it because if you was helping someone else and dealing with their problems, you weren't facing your own, really.
That's
So
right.
that was definitely part of that when I was younger.
What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think in the chat? Do y'all find yourself commonly doing these things? Right. And if so, do you feel like it weighs heavily on you in the long run? At least for me, it always ends up doing that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't end up necessarily damaging me per se, but it damages the situation that I've been in with it. Right. So I guess what I'm referring to on that is more like on a relationship side, like when I've dated chicks or whatever, or in my marriage that failed, you know what I'm saying? Like I postponed a lot of things or pushed things off, out of sight, out of mind, right? Worked a lot while I was in the Marine Corps and made sure that I fucking gave 190% to them, right? To avoid having to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if I would have been a little more open-minded to try and address it and not run away from it, I think that maybe possibly there could have been more progress. I mean, I don't regret the way things played out. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that I think that was one of the times where I learned the most that maybe not dealing with things is not the right way to go.
Yeah.
It's like the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. I play video games to unwind from I just give myself a time and frame to play. Yo, Nico knows tech. What's up, dude? Long time no see, bro. How's things going, man? How are you? Yo, Nico, what's up, dude? What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. All right. So unfortunately, avoidance strategies don't work for long. The painful feelings tend to increase the longer you avoid them. And you end up spending increasing amounts of time and energy trying to keep them under wraps. It's like procrastinating on your housework, telling yourself that you'll pick up the magazines and newspapers next week because you don't want to face having to clear it up now. But it just gets more and more cluttered until you're trapped in a messy house. Emotions are the same way. They can take over if you don't take care of them. And that's kind of what we were just talking about, Matt.
Yeah. I often refer to it as like looking after your garden, weeding your garden, because kind of the more you put those things off, the bigger the weeds get, the harder it is to kind of then kind of sort out and deal with and cut them back, really, or weed them out. But the more that you keep on top of it, when next time you kind of go outside to that garden as such, it's easier because you've kept on top of it and you've kept pulling those weeds out. But I quite kind of use that example a lot, really, and I kind of look at that myself as well, because if I don't do certain things for a certain amount of time, like they kind of suggested there, like an example of those magazines and things, you kind of come back, don't you? And to first start as well, you can kind of keep putting it off because, you have left things for so long. And you can get a bit confused on where to start, really. But the more you keep on top of that and keep on top of those feelings or the problems that you're facing or being asked to face, the easier it gets and the less work that you make for yourself as well.
Right. 100%. Hey, Nico, I'm a little jealous, dude. Nico moved to Costa Rica.
Okay. Wow.
That sounds like a good, yeah, hell yeah. You do a lot of fishing, a lot of pretty ladies, right?
Especially when we're sat over here in the UK at the moment with cloudy skies and rain and cold and everything else. That sounds quite inviting.
Absolutely. 100%. Then you get overwhelmed and you will never get it done. And that's kind of where I was going with that, Chris, is that like, that's where I was talking about putting Band-Aids on, but leaving the other Band-Aids underneath it and end up infecting the wound. You know, like that's kind of what it felt like in the long run, you know. But I still struggle with some of that shit today, bro. You know, like it's because it's so much easier at the time to avoid, right? To avoid it, especially when it's small petty shit. But then that small stuff just keeps building up, and then you're stacking bigger issues and bigger problems on top of it. It just turns into a disaster, right?
Yeah.
I do go fishing a lot. Caught a huge rainbow bass. Hot ladies, you should see my Costa Rican wife. She's smoking. Yo, hell yeah, bro. Good shit, man. Good shit. I was referring for when I visit. I'm just throwing that out there. Right? Throwing that out there. Just saying.
Yeah.
Let's see here. When we are faced with something painful, our first response is often to try to hide our true feelings. We want to put on a brave face so that we don't appear to be struggling. We are more concerned with how others see us than with our own well-being. I once heard a man who had been laid off his job, and when he got home, he and his wife opened a bottle of champagne because they believed that something better would come along. He did get another job, but it's important to give yourself time to grieve a loss. There's often so much pressure to just get over it that we end up bearing our feelings in the rush to move on, and those feelings never go away. They just live underneath the surface, and just like increasing clutter in the house, they begin to affect every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Which is 100% true.
That actually reminds me there of a couple of stories of where I've known people to kind of, either, perhaps one of them's lost a job, or one of them, the other person had some money worries and some debts, and the coping mechanisms to do that. That's when it can actually get quite damaging and sort of dangerous that way, is when they've carried on spending at the same sort of rate with that sort of feeling quite often. I've had it myself over the last couple of weeks where something negative, or you feel that negative has happened, but then just around the corner, there's a big positive around the corner that you wasn't aware of. And I think it's good to have sort of some faith that, things do get better, and that there are those things that, life will just bring up and provide for you when you least expect it. But at the same time, I've known people as well to kind of carry on spending, especially with sort of money issues. And, it's taken time for those things to get better, but then they've built up their credit cards and more debt, and, got more loans out. Yeah. Which has just added to those first initial problems, and has kind of made the situation so much harder. So especially around money, it's certainly a good thing to kind of catch that in that moment, to try and prevent any more, further damage than what's already there, if possible.
Yeah, I agree. And I understand completely about when we are faced with something painful, our first response is often to try and hide our true feelings.
Yeah.
I think that we tend to do that. At least I know I do that, right? When I do it, especially if I got to be strong for other people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think I necessarily do it to a fault, but I think that's just in my nature. You know what I mean? But I do think that can be a dangerous unbalance. You know what I'm saying? Like if it can easily go down a path of where you end up hiding what's wrong with you, you know what I'm saying, and letting that sit there. I know I made that mistake several times in my life, for sure.
Again, with relationships, really, isn't it? And perhaps men. I'm not sure sort of about women and stuff, but I've known, a number of friends in the past that have kind of split up from their partners, and, you're on the phone, or you're out with them at the time, and you sort of ask them how they are, and they say, oh, I'm fine. It's no big deal. Plenty more fish in the sea. And then normally after a couple of drinks, sort of a couple of days later and stuff, the emotions start coming out of, oh, I really miss her. I loved her to bits. And, and I wish we could be more open sometimes in letting those feelings out, and just be honest, to start off with. Because, the amount of times that's happened, especially with relationships with people, friends I've known and things like that, have said, oh, it doesn't matter. I didn't care about her anyway. And then one way or another, it starts coming out quite often, doesn't it, really, of how they really feel.
Just to be clear, that's never been me.
Has it? You sure?
Let's see here. Miss Robin, what's up? How are you? Yo, Ms. Robbins said just now getting a chance to chime in. This article is definitely hitting home. Wasn't prepared to feel attacked today. All right. So here's how to deal with an upsetting event and the painful feelings that follow in a way that will lead you closer to where you really want to be. All right. So we got some solutions, right?
Yeah.
Number one, to begin, don't react. Be gentle with yourself. Let yourself feel whatever it is you are feeling. Don't be in a hurry to be okay. Give yourself time to think. HSPs need time to process information, absorb the shock, think and analyze. It's okay to just sit and stare out the window for a little while after something shocking happens. I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah.
What do you got anything else on that? Or do you think that's just or is that?
Yeah, no, not really. Quite often people will, so I read a lot of articles, and it's another thing recently where people sort of say, you shouldn't just stay in bed, if you've had a setback or if you've had a problem or a loss or something like that. But I actually don't agree with that. I think it's if that goes on for a length of time. I think sometimes we're allowed an afternoon in bed, we're allowed a duvet day, we're allowed a couple of duvet days if we feel that we need them to kind of reflect and give ourselves a bit of a mental break and a physical break from things. The problem for me, I feel, is if that then kind of continues for an excessive sort of period of time of where sort of you find that you're doing that for more than a couple of days or more than a week or even longer. When it then becomes a problem of where you're still looking out of that window and you're kind of leaving other priorities behind, which then can kind of cause more damage and problems, then then that's an issue. But yeah, like it says there, really, I think allowing ourselves to grieve a little bit over, when we talk about grieve, we've said this before in the past as well, that it quite often means like a loss of a loved one, relative, things like that. But really it can be a loss of anything, a loss of a job, a loss of, a house, a pet, whatever that is, and allowing ourselves to kind of grieve that time, to kind of reflect on the situation, I feel is a healthy thing. It's when it goes on for a greater period of time and becomes an issue, then it's more of a problem.
All right. Chat, do you guys got any thoughts and feelings on that? I think that's reasonable sound advice, to just take a step back and just hang tight and see where it goes. A lot of young boys are raised to hide their feelings because men don't cry.
Yeah.
Let's see here. While sensitive people can feel flooded with emotions, we also have the ability to express them, which is the key to coping with difficult situations. Cry, shout, and talk about your feelings, your anger, your frustration, hurt, regret, and shame to someone you trust. Write about your feelings in a journal. Use your natural creativity to express your feelings through creative writing, art, music, dance, or drama. Try to figure out what exactly you are feeling. Are you really angry that you lost your job, or are you also feeling disappointed in yourself? Are you hurt that your ex left you, or perhaps angry at yourself for staying with them? The clearer and more honest you are about your feelings, the sooner you will get over them. Once you recognize them, acknowledge them, and express them, they will move out of your mind and your heart and begin to disappear. Expressing your feelings about a tragic event should be a phase. Take care not to become stuck in a self-pitying, sympathy gathering rut. Take care. So basically, try not to get stuck in the self-pitying or sympathy gathering rut.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. And listen, Matt, we talk about this all the time on here, right? Like we can sit here and say things and we can talk about things, but unless we actually put some effort and work behind it, we got to get it done. And I think that being open and honest with yourself is very, very challenging, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's there is some skills involved in there, but all skills that we're more than capable of, and we're kind of all capable of catching those moments. And that's a little bit, it kind of reflects on the first one as well, really, of staying in that rut of staying in bed for more than really what is kind of healthy for us, or looking out of that window, kind of hoping that something will change more than making it change, really. And I think it kind of mentions in there as well. I have so many people that I talk to say, my family don't care, my family haven't done anything to help me. But then when I kind of ask them, well, do they know what's going on for you? Quite often the answer is no, and they haven't actually told kind of their parents or, family members or, their partner, how they're feeling, what's going on for them. So if people don't know, really, we can't kind of expect them to act on something that they're not aware of. So that's again why it's, another reason of why it's important to kind of share those feelings and, and what's going on for us with other people. That happens a lot, really, where it's very easy to kind of point a finger at someone else and saying, it's you're not doing anything for me, and you haven't said the right things to me to make me feel better. But if they don't know that you're hurting and they don't know what's upsetting you, then we're asking a lot of those people, really.
I think sometimes it's difficult sometimes you want to expect people to know, you know what I mean? And it's because I think that could be a series of different things. I think it could be obviously number one, not wanting to be honest with yourself. Right. And number two, like, I don't know, I guess sometimes I think that even in my position, like, especially when it comes to relationship side, I expected like some of the ladies that I was with to just know by my body language, right? Or to pay attention to the way that I'm acting or stuff like that. It's just not fair. You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the other person,
No.
But I think that it's hard. I know for me, it's always been hard to talk about things because I didn't even know if I want to acknowledge it myself, Yeah. And just Chris Armstrong said in the chat, I definitely agree, 100% agree with that. You always have to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I've always had to be extra rough on myself when it comes to things like that. And I don't mean rough as in like demeaning. What I mean is like I had to be very aggressive about making myself do shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it was easy for me to sit back and just be like, all right, yeah, I'll work on that at some point. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll get around that. Oh, it makes sense. It sounds good. And we'll dig more into that later. But I'm not built that way. Like if I don't get extra rough with myself and tell myself, you better get the fuck up and you better go do it now. Right. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. It's like that thing, isn't it, of, like slamming doors and stuff, and then someone asking you whether you're okay. And we still have that inbuilt thing of going, yeah, I'm fine. And that person quite often will kind of think, oh, okay, they just want to be left alone. So they'll kind of walk off, and we're still walking around slamming doors thinking, well, why isn't anyone, taking any notice and stuff? So it's, it's completely understandable because it's all to do with human nature and things like that, really. But if we can help ourselves, help other people as well and things, then all the better. So
no, I agree. What do you guys think, chat? Yeah. Yo, Miss Your Face Savage, Chelsea. What's up? How are you?
Hi, Chelsea.
Let's see. All right, number 3. Once you have given yourself the time and freedom to acknowledge and express your feelings, use your HSP mind to try and learn things from the experience. Whatever it is, there's usually some kind of insight you can gain about yourself or life or a certain situation. Perhaps you lost your job because you were overly controlling, or your relationship ended because you were afraid of getting hurt. Recognizing these truths is not easy. That's why people try to avoid them. But facing them will help you feel better, learn to overcome some of your own challenges, and move on in a healthy, open, honest way, free from regret, bitterness, and emotional baggage. Right?
Yeah. That's reminded me of people I've spoken to in relationships where, they've got that kind of expectation that, at some point they're going to get hurt, really. So they've kind of kept, a lot of things to themselves, haven't really let their feelings go for, towards someone they really actually care about. And then, quite often they get kind of proved right, really, because, the partner isn't getting kind of what they feel out of a relationship because the other person's holding all that back, expecting it to go wrong. So they've kind of
cycle of vicious.
Yeah. It's, and you more than likely get proved right, really, don't you? Where they kind of break up, you lose that relationship, and then you sit there sort of thinking, I knew that was going to happen. So, I was right, and, not to give my feelings away when unfortunately, if we are able to not let those past experiences, stop us from future happiness and future options and things like that, we can get a completely different path and a different outcome. But quite often we can, generate and predict the future, really, and make the future, the way that we kind of feel that it's going to happen.
Miss Chelsea West said it's toxic, though, and it 100% is, but it's so easy to go down that path, right? Like, one thing that, and this is where like I respect like a lot. Well, for example, Chelsea Henry and her husband Matt, they have a really, really awesome relationship with each other, and they've been married a long time, and they get along really well. And I've seen that typically they avoid going to. Now, once again, I'm sure everybody has their moments. You know what I'm saying, in life, right? I don't mean that everything's perfect, but I think that Chelsea Henry and her husband Matt have a very, very efficient way of avoiding that path. And I don't know how you guys do it, right? Because listen, I've dated some chicks, bro, and it was just super hard to stay off that path. You know what I'm saying? Right? But it is so toxic. And I don't know, Miss Chelsea, do you have any like do you have any way of explaining how you and Matt avoid going down that path and stay off of it? And when I'm talking about the path, I'm talking about that vicious cycle of where it just starts off with like one person being mad, and then you talk about why they're mad and how something that the other person did's anger it just turns into a shit show. You know what I mean? Right? I really, really respect you and Matt's fucking marriage a lot. Right? It's actually inspiring to me, to be honest with you. Yeah. I feel way people don't do that is because of pride. I feel people don't do that. Wait, what happened? Communication is 100% key. We talk everything through, even if it's tough.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that's it. I still think it's hard. I think the way that y'all do it is not common. I think it's easier to go down the other route. You know what I'm saying? So much respect to y'all for being able to maintain that. You know what I mean? Chris, can you reword that? I feel people don't do that is because of pride. My bad, dude. I'm a little lost on that one. If you could just retype it, that way, maybe I can read it, because you know me, I'm not too smart none, right?
Hi to Coley too. It's good to see Coley again.
Yeah, Coley, what's up, dude? How are you, bro? How are you? Did you have a good week? I hope everything's good. Yeah, it's good to see you here, man. At some point when it feels you've written, wept, and said all you could say, the experience will fade into the past while you move into the future. Expressing your feelings and learning from life will allow this forward motion to happen naturally. The next step is 1, you take care of yourself. Once you have faced your feelings, grieve your loss, and perhaps learned a lesson or two, you can take action. If life has left you feeling victimized by its cruelty or unfairness, this is the time to stop and decide where you want to go next. It is your choice. Perhaps that job or relationship or town wasn't really right for you. Perhaps what you really want is something else, something better, something that enables you to be you. Very well said, right?
Yeah, definitely.
My baby daddy slow, y'all, 100%, right? I just, I couldn't figure that one out. That's my fault. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. I think myself and Chris, actually, a few weeks back now, we kind of had a bit of an interaction with someone who I kind of guessed what was going on for themselves, if Chris kind of remembers. Someone who was very negative on the very first kind of thing that they said to both of us. And straight away...
About that Twitter guy?
Yeah.
Oh, God. That was a disaster.
Straight away I thought, but straight away I kind of thought that, this person's obviously very defensive, and he's, he was attacking us straight away, really, within the very first thing that he kind of said about us. And, without having any idea about what we do, who we are, how we know each other or anything. But I knew and recognized that probably comes from a lot of hurt and a lot of upset. And it was a way of really kind of attacking, potentially good things, because of the expectation that they're going to automatically be bad or negative, right, and stuff like that. And I ended up, I think he ended up blocking Chris, I think, and different bits and stuff. And I kind of carried on a little bit of a conversation with him where he kind of admitted that. And he said, I've always been the same for years, since a bad breakup and different things that happened to him in life, with like disabilities and lack of support and things like that. And I had actually ended up having quite a good positive conversation with him at that period of time. But it's so easy for people to kind of feel that they're protecting themselves in that way, and continually push people away from them and cause damage before, or even when, you know, it's not called for, or to kind of protect yourself in that way. And it's so kind of life limiting. And I was kind of trying to encourage him to sort of not treat everybody the same, really, and to give people a fair chance and things. And but it's just an incredibly hard thing to do, and it's a, you know, a very basic way of kind of protecting yourself from further hurt and harm, perceived. But then you actually, because he was saying to me, you know, I've got no friends, no one cares about me, but you know, and I had to be a little bit blunt, really, where I kind of said, well, look, you know, if you kind of had someone treating you that way straight away, you know, it's not very welcoming. Who is going to talk to you? Who is going to feel, oh, you know, this guy's a nice guy, I'm going to give him some time and things like that? It's just not going to happen. And thankfully, in a way, I kind of recognized that, but not many people sort of would. And, you know, you're likely to get a lot of abuse sort of back and things.
Right.
And it really is important that if you've got those things that you kind of recognize that you may be doing in even a smaller sort of form, where you're kind of potentially pushing good things away from you, or limiting, you know, what opportunities come your way because of your own actions. It's really important to try and catch those moments and try to see the other side, and try to kind of approach things a little bit differently and give things a chance. That's kind of my main message out of that one, really.
Well, I think that immediately ties into this. Don't let life drag you down with it. Decide what you want, what is right for you, then take a step in that direction. In the words of writer Henry David, whatever his last name is, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined.
Yeah,
and I believe, so I'm a firm believer, right? I'm a huge believer in the fact that I think that we can control life. We can control like our emotions. We can control our reactions. I believe that the way we are and the way we carry ourselves is contagious, or a deterrence. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we're shortchanging ourselves if we're not being open and honest with ourselves. Because at the end of the day, I think that narrows the scope of what we see around what's happening to us in life. And I think a lot of good things pass us by due to our lack of being honest and open with ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately as well, the effects of that, you know, can carry on for years. You
That's
know,
right.
it's that guy actually on Twitter, when I was talking to him, he said, oh, you know, I've been like this for 10, 15 years, you know, now I've been on my own for 10, 15 years. You know, how long does that kind of carry on for? Is that, you know, quickly turns into like 20, 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
And so many things, you know, you've kind of probably missed out on: relationships, job opportunities, you know, even people asking you if you want to take part in nice activities or go to events, parties, you know, anything like that. So, you know, it can, unfortunately, it can swallow up so much time, and we haven't got a lot of time. We're not here for a long time. So, you know, so as quickly as you can, kind of catch those moments, catch those behaviors, and try and change them for the better. It doesn't mean don't protect yourself and don't be aware. It just means, you know, don't cut people off, and give people a chance, really, and opportunities a chance.
I try to live a little, you know?
Yeah.
Yo, Coley, I appreciate them kind words, dude. I really do, man. Yo, Coley, you've been here for a long time, bro. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Another thing Matt and I have gone through. So nowadays, here, let's start here. Nowadays, nobody starts off with a friendship. It's immediately into I like you, you like me, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, kind of thing. I mean, but if you're looking for a relationship, right, doesn't there have to be some sort of initial attraction? Or no? Another thing Matt and I have gone through therapy that just happened to work for us. We could relate, and feel free to talk with our therapist. We were 100% honest about everything, and that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think it helps out so much with having an unbiased third party there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I went through therapy with with my ex-wife, right? That did not play out well, right? That did not play out well at all.
You still got some positives from that, though.
Oh,
Chris,
no, I think that was probably one of the most instrumental stages of my life, where I learned a lot about myself and a lot of how to actually wake up and smile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? 100%. Yeah. I mean, it happened for a reason. It all went down for a reason. I don't doubt that at all, but it did not jive well with her.
Yeah.
I mean, not at all. Like bad. But I'm glad y'all went through that. And like I said, Chelsea, I I think I told you this the other day, like when you guys were here, but I want to reiterate it. Like I'm truly inspired by y'all. I really am. Like
Yeah,
y'all's
definitely.
relationship is inspiring. It's motivating. I always consider myself to just be that guy, you know, that loner, and I'm just gonna run around and do whatever I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? But if I can find something that matches like what y'all have too, like I would definitely be in the same boat that y'all are. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And it's
yeah.
inspiring. It really is. Even if I don't ever achieve that, right? Even if I don't ever achieve that, just to know that it exists is very, very, it's special, right? It really is 100%.
Yeah.
I learned when in a relationship, you need time for yourself, like finding a hobby that you can do by yourself. I agree. Like
Yeah,
hunting,
that's healthy.
fishing,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Loving
it's
everybody.
healthy, isn't it? It's there's a lot of people that feel that they have to be with each other sort of, every minute of the day and things like that and stuff, isn't it? And if you're talking about relationships over a certain amount of years and things, how do you kind of have other topics to talk about and things like that? So, it's great to explore the world together, but it's also important to kind of have some healthy time, sort of, continuing your own interests and your own friendships and things like that as well. Because when you kind of come back together later on in the day after work or after taking part in some other activities, you've got something new and fresh to talk about. That's kind of how I see it, really. And you're encouraging the other person to sort of grow during that relationship as well as hopefully them encouraging you to do the same.
Absolutely. Miss Chelsea West says sometimes people feel like they need a third party though, because imagine being in a relationship with two stubborn people.
Yeah.
It is nice to have a third party, and I guess like at that time, especially, it was essential. I'm
Mm.
not so sure that I would make the same mistakes. Like naturally in a failed relationship, marriage, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, both parties are responsible. There's not just one sided.
No.
But there's a lot of things that I learned, especially from a failed marriage. That I could have done a lot better. So I
Mm.
don't know if necessarily if I would ever need that again, but I would not be scared of ever reaching out to a third party and having them help. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of
Mm.
fact, I'd be more quick to go to that than fucking bailing out. You know what I'm saying? Just because
Yeah.
I've learned that I can do so many great things and can have so many positive effects on your life. You know?
Mm. Yeah. No, definitely.
I learned in therapy with my ex-wife didn't work out very well either, but it also both parties had to be willing to seek. Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. I agree
Yeah.
with that 100%. People say it's a 50-50 thing. I don't believe that. I don't even believe it's a 100-100 thing, right? You both need to give it your all. I do agree. And I think we're about to say the same exact thing. So
Yeah.
let me reread this. People say it's 50-50 relationships, actually 100-100. You both need to give it your all. Both need to be willing to fight for each other no matter what. I agree. I agree with
Mm.
that. I only read part of it, but then I was like, because I know that sometimes that when we enter into a marriage, right, like we've obviously committed to it. And I think that sometimes that commitment requires a little bit more from one person than it does the other. But I think, don't get me wrong, I think there has to be a healthy meet in the middle balance, right? But I do understand that if I were to get married or engage in a long-term committed relationship again, right, like there are going to be times that I may have to put in a little more effort because let's say the old lady or whatever goes to work and has a fucking terrible day at work, right? I know that I need to be a little bit extra to make her day better.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, now that I read through all that, we definitely, I think we're saying the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's a good reminder as well because sometimes if you've got jobs as well that we kind of go to work quite often in occupations that we've personally got an interest in. Sometimes we obviously don't, and we just kind of take on work and stuff like that. But um, it can get to a bit of a point where it's difficult to kind of sit there listening to someone else's grievances about their job or what's happened in their work and give them the time. But it's so important to, even if it's just 5-10 minutes, to kind of just give that ear to someone that's kind of come home from work and to listen to them about how their day's gone and what's actually happened for them and any problems that they've had. I know personally myself, it can be hard to hear like your partner having a hard time with bosses and things like that, because if it goes on for too long without any changes, you kind of can sit there getting involved with it thinking, as frustrated as what they are, thinking, why isn't this manager doing different? Why isn't this boss? Why aren't they looking after my partner better? And and that sort of thing. And it can be difficult because you can't always kind of do something to sort of help, but listening is important, and it's a good reminder there, because sometimes I need to do that myself as well a little bit.
Right.
Just listen a little bit
and
more.
It's common courtesy too. I mean, I think we all know that there's certain things that we have to do when we enter into a relationship, and I think that we tend to do that out of the kindness of our own heart, just because we're in love with the other person. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. When one is down, the others can be stronger. Yeah. So we were saying the same thing. My bad, Miss Chelsea. I only read part of that, but you know me, I'm mind of a 2-year-old, right? I need to stop going out on Fridays. This is good. I missed this. Yes, you do need to stop.
Yeah, stay in every Friday. Go out on Saturdays
every
instead.
Friday. Yep, Saturdays instead. 100%.
Yeah. That's only a suggestion. It's not a.
No, it's a demand.
Okay, it's a demand.
It's a demand.
I'm just a baby.
That could change though, because if we then change to a Sunday night, you're allowed out on a Friday as long as you're staying in on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, but you'll have to consult with us first and get a hall pass.
We'll try and give you as much notice as we can.
Yeah, we attempt to. But I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby. Chat, do you guys got anything else? Y'all got any input on that article? Do y'all want the do you guys want the link to that article? Let me pull it back up. Did I close out of it? I did. Let me grab it for you guys. My boy Matt coming in clutch with that one. Copy link. There you go. And once again, I know that was kind of like they made it sound like highly sensitive people, but I think those are common battles with everybody. I don't
yeah, definitely. That's what I thought as well, really.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's I don't know, and sometimes we can all be a little bit highly sensitive as well, can't we?
That's
depending
true.
on what's going on.
We're getting our feelings and get butt hurt, like in Call of Duty and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we get cheated on, like in Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
When a hacker shoots you from across the map and you just want to punch your monitor and break your keyboard and snatch your mic off the.
Do you want
my feelings? Right?
Do you want 10 minutes after this, Chris? We're gonna have a chat.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, we're good. I think. But yeah. So Matt, do you got anything in closing?
No, not really. It's just good to be back with after last week like that and stuff. We was obviously we was going to have a guest last week who I think's lined up for hopefully next week. Okay. So yeah. So but yeah, no, it's just good to be back again, and good to hear Chris talking. And I'm fairly pleased that I haven't coughed too much either through this, so it's not too bad. It's obviously good to see everybody in chat again, especially Chelsea as well, because it's good to have everybody here.
Could you please post it in Discord? All right, let me copy link.
Have you got that? I can do that afterwards if you like as well.
Yeah, I can do it right now. Let me open Discord again.
Okay.
Oh yeah. All right, ChrisNetzelGaming, Mental Health Friday, material, paste, bam. It's in there. Got it. Or when Chris, listen. No, Chris ain't playing no fishing game, dog. Listen, you guys have been trying, right? I think it's because you guys are trolling me. I mean, you guys are trolling me with it, right? Y'all are definitely trolling me with it. I love it. I love being trolled. Y'all need to troll me more often, as a matter of fact. Right? Tell me I got like a booger in my nose or something. You know what I mean?
That'll be one of my new hobbies now.
Do it when I'm on TikTok too, right? Just embarrass me in front of all, like get me turning red and shit. It makes me laugh, right? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Chris, as well. Yeah.
With Chelsea? God, don't do it. Don't do it. You better stop. You better stop, bro. Stop. Goes. Look. All right. Anyways, so Matt, in closing, look, I'm turning red, bro. Oh my God. Right, let's see here. Yeah. So no. All right. So in chat, do you guys have anything else in closing? Are y'all good? Right? Are y'all okay? Do y'all have any? Stop, Chelsea, bro. Quit. Stop, bro.
I like it how you always hide under your hat. That's
I know,
that's
man.
when I know
it works
you're in
out
trouble.
well, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
It works out well, doesn't it? All right. So, chat, I hope you guys have a beautiful, badass weekend. I appreciate y'all being here, and I'm so happy for these Mental Health Fridays. I love them. I adore them. And Matt, as always, dude, I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. It's a pleasure. It's one of the easiest things that we, I just can kind of do. It doesn't matter what time of night it is either. It's it's a great community, great group of friends as well, and to kind of be here every sort of week as much as we can. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else, so it's great.
I want to know, bro.
And the other Chelsea as well is banned from going out on Fridays now. So.
Yeah. You are no longer authorized to go on Fridays. Matt, your camera froze, so that's kind of good timing, huh?
Did it? Oh yeah. That's kind of.
You look like you're about to take a sip out of a straw.
I did, didn't I?
Chat. You guys agree with me, right? It look like he's about to take a sip out of a straw. He's like,
I don't know what he looks like. Yeah. I look like could be the penguin or something like that on that one. I think. So,
unless it's your hat.
I don't know. This COVID's making me old. I think it's every time I get it, I feel like 20 years older than I did the week before.
Wait, what? I'm gonna buy a game and send it to you. Looks like we'll be doing a supporter giveaway soon. Yo, Chris, I'll give you credit for it though. All right, I'll give you credit for it. Oh my God, you guys better fucking stop, bro. Yo, you guys better stop.
Frozen?
I don't know. Like maybe you're about to. Do you have a cup with a straw in it?
I don't know. No, it's strange. Of all the times, I thought we was doing well with Wi-Fi and internet and everything else.
Right. All right. Well, Matt, as always, dude, I appreciate it. Chat. We love you guys, man. We love y'all. Yeah. We love y'all. Love y'all all the time. All right. You guys are thebomb.com 100%. Okay. All right.
Keep looking after that voice, Chris, during the week.
Yes, sir. We'll see you. We'll see you in Discord. Well, I'll holler at you tomorrow, I think. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Camera like doing that focus and shit. Been weird. All right. We'll see you, sir. Chat. Okay. We love you guys, bro.
Putting loads of faces and none of you know because my camera's frozen, so it's all good.
Yeah, he's waving at you instead of sipping out of a McDonald's cup. All right. All right. Love you guys. Peace out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Go out there and change the world. All right.
Have a good one. Have a good weekend, all. Speak to you soon.
Yes, sir. We'll see.
Bye.